Aloha, welcome to my walkthrough on my Minecraft mini lesson plan. Just to give you some context before we go in, I wanted to let you know that I'm targeting students in grades 4 to 6, and they should be able to work independently and then collaboratively in teams, and also apply multiplication, division, and problem solving in order to solve a multi-part word problem. Essentially, the question is, how do you use multiplication and division to calculate the amount of ingredients that are needed, and then to further calculate the rate of egg production for chickens in order to answer the word problem and complete the task of baking some cakes in Minecraft. This is a supplement to other lessons where they will already have learned in class about multiplication, division, and calculating max and minimum rates. The class will also have some Minecraft orientation sessions before we do this. They can choose their avatars and they can, hopefully get up to speed on how to move and craft in the game. And then the students will be asked to work independently on the problems and then come to a consensus on what ingredients they need when they come into the world. They'll be given some time with some scratch paper to work on the problems in class. And we would do this in class together as a class, but probably split up in, sitting near their team members, but independently solving the problem. And then they can come to a consensus afterwards. But what I want them to do is just kind of trying to think about what they're going to need and how long it would take to bake a predefined number of cakes. And then each student will have a workbook in Minecraft and they'll be able to input their answers, provide some feedback about the lesson, and then they'll sign and submit the book in Minecraft. And then we'll all do like a feedback session when we're done, and we'll review peers, the class, and the instructor, and students will hopefully have learned, to apply multiplication and division concepts in the class and their knowledge in Minecraft. So the first team, I want to kind of gamify it even more and make it a competition. So the first team to finish will be the winning team. And I really will give prizes to everyone, but it's just the first team to finish will be the first to pick something out of the prize bag. I went with Gagne's 9 events of instruction. This is the word problem. They're going to be asked to bake 9 cakes. They'll be given the ingredients for 1 cake, the quantities, and then they'll be told that chickens can lay 1 egg every 5 to 10 minutes. How many minutes will it take if they're allowed to have 3 chickens laying eggs for them to make 9 cakes? So they'll have to do a little bit of figuring out there to calculate how many times each of the 3 chickens need to lay an egg and the max and min. And then once they hatch their chickens, they'll be able to gather all their ingredients and their eggs when they're ready and make their cakes. And then the first team to finish wins. And there's other stuff, but let's go into the game. So when they get to the lesson area, I just set it up as if there were 2 teams, a red and a blue, and they have a pretty identical workstation. So as you can see, I also recreated the cake recipe for them in case they needed to reference it. And there's a sign that says, please start here, right-click the book. So I'll just grab the first one, and they need to take the book. And I would want to be there with them because I'd want to be able to, kind of talk them through things because some of this is confusing. So you have to face away from the lectern in order to use the book. And then you right-click again to actually open it and read it and write in it. So we're making 9 cakes. The recipe is next to you if you need it. How much of each ingredient will you need? And hopefully, they're doing their calculations and they know they need 27, 18 sugars, 9 eggs, and 27 wheats. I tell them it's every 5 to 10 minutes per chicken laying an egg. And they have to think about how much time it's going to take them. And how many eggs do they need? They need 9. And what's the minimum amount of time it's going to take if they only have 3 chickens to lay enough eggs? And they need 9 eggs, so they need to know that they need all 3 chickens to lay 3 eggs each. So 5 minutes is the minimum amount of time, and then they're going to have to do it 3 times each. So the fastest they'll get their eggs is 15 minutes. And then with the max, 10 minutes is the max. So they're going to estimate this. 30 minutes. And then it says, hey, let's make some cakes. Click done. go get ingredients, make 9 cakes, come back to this book and continue. So they can click done if they want. They can put the book on the lectern, but it actually just stays in their hand. And then I want to point out that, strategically I would do the chicken coop first, but, that'll be up to the team, of course, right? And it tells them, this is the blue team's chicken coop. It's an egg factory. I found a tutorial for it online on YouTube, and I built it. It automatically, you put the chickens inside, and it automatically collects all the eggs, and they'll come out in the back in a chest. So they're supposed to put the chickens in the coop, and then it's kind of tricky. I found out the best way is you got to bust this top gate, spawn your 3 chickens, and then put the gate back really quickly, or they'll just run for it. They just run for it. And then I would have had a red coop in here as well, but I ran out of space because I didn't have everything in mind yet when I started building. But if I was really doing this, I'd create a second red team coop. So as you can see, right-click the chest, and I have had that 1 chicken in there. It sounds like you just laid one. Yep. So now you got 10 eggs. And yeah, so they can gather eggs as they go along. This is where they would harvest their wheat. And I'm not going to make them wait for the plants to grow. This is sugarcane for sugar that they can harvest. And you'll notice as I back up, there's a blue banner over this cow, and there's a cow in here, and he's got a red banner, so it kind of tried to team it, gamify it in that sense that they have their own cows. You need a bucket to milk the cow. You right-click the cow to get milk, and don't let the cow escape. It's kind of hard to catch them. And that would all factor in, right? Because this is like Cake Wars. They're going to try to compete and finish first, and we're going to make it like a game, right? So they're trying, and the funny part is, like, they could be totally accurate in their calculations, and some of it is just going to be also how well you play Minecraft that factors into it. But everybody will win in the end, And then so say they've gathered all their ingredients as a team. Now they can make their eggs. In Minecraft, you don't bake a cake. You actually just combine these ingredients in the crafting area, and then boom, you have cake. So you want 9. So they have to have enough stuff to do that. So I told them to gather and make their cake. So let's pretend that's been done. And I'm going to tell them, hey, turn to page 7. And answer and continue working through your book. And so hopefully as a team, if they had enough ingredients, if nothing went wrong, they can say, yes, they were able to accomplish the task. And then I ask, what did you like most about this lesson? I also ask, what was the hardest thing? And I ask them to reply below. And this is being done individually. Like, even though they're a team, each one of them is going to submit a book. And these instructions will be like reiterated to them as they play the game. And I thank them for participating and tell them their hard work is appreciated. Please sign and name this book 9 Cakes. So when they click sign, it automatically is recording their name. And I want them to name it 9 Cakes and sign and close it. And now you'll see it's a written book. Or they could hold it, actually. And then what I would want to do is ideally, have them reflect. And I would tell them, hey, class, take out your books if you don't have it out already. Turn to page 7. How many of you managed to say yes to this question? Did your team succeed? And as the teams are coming in, I would be, calling it out like, oh, red team, blue team is ahead, just to try to get them to compete and make it more hopefully fun and not scary for them. And then have them share their responses to what they liked the most and what was hardest, and then that's it. In order to enhance retention, I also wanted to have a part where, and transfer is to have a part where I would maybe invite a baker to come in and talk to them and explain the importance of calculating how many ingredients they need and the amount of time it takes in order to bake, so they can get their orders in. And I thought that would be a good real world example if I could get a baker to talk about that. So yeah, that's it. That's the plan. Thank you for watching, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody else has done. Okay, mahalo.